Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick Podcast. And today we are going to do a mock draft for the Fantasy Football Players Championship. This is a high-stakes league that I participate in. And the strategy we're going to use is a fantastic strategy if you happen to have one of those late-round picks, pick 9 to pick 12. It's relevant for you as well, so you definitely want to check it out. Here we go.
Listen up. It's time for the Fantasy Maverick Podcast, starring the guy who's going to help you win that fantasy championship, Jimmy Maverick.
Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to the Fantasy Maverick Podcast. And today we are going to do a mock draft, and we're going to do a mock draft for the Fantasy Football Players Championship. This is a high-stakes league that I play in. I have several entries this year. We're going to do, it's a 12-team PPR league with 1.5 points per reception for tight ends. I have an entry at pick number 10, which is, for me, a very difficult pick, and I've been working on my draft strategy. I think I got something down here, which is going to go very, very well. And just to let you know, I'm going to be running this mock draft through Fantasy Pros with a custom setup for those point schedules. And one thing I've noticed in Fantasy Pros is their algorithm does not account for how the tight ends come off the board. So I will take off the tight ends when they appear on my app as opposed to when they're actually available on the board. So there'll be a discrepancy there. But I think that'll give us a pretty good idea as to what kind of team we can build. Now, before we do that, I just have to get something off my chest. And I am just seething right now about this situation. But Adam Gase, what the hell is he doing? He is the worst coach in the NFL. And I am ready to murder this guy because he is making these decisions which are inexplicable to me. Inexplicable. I don't understand. I mean, the passive-aggressive, unprofessional nature of what he's doing to this team is just ridiculous. He's like the worst. He's like having a bad boss, and the bad boss hates Le'Veon Bell, and that everybody knows about that. But now he is trying to undermine Bell in every way he can. He benched Le'Veon Bell in favor of 37-year-old Frank Gore. And, of course, heaped praise upon Gore and his amazing performance for a 37-year-old running back. He then today went ahead and brought in Kalen Ballage, who came off the worst season for an NFL running back in NFL history last year. A guy that got 1.8 yards per carry. And is like so happy and thrilled to have him on the team. I don't know what he's doing. I don't understand this, but as far as I'm concerned, I am all out on the New York Jets. And that's a shame because there were several players that I very much liked. Le'Veon Bell, I liked him. I liked Jameson Crowder. I was liking Chris, the tight end, which I'm trying to blank on his name, Hendrickson. I was like liking all of them in their draft positions and such, but now forget it. I'm not drafting any of them. I've downgraded all their outlooks with the Adam Gase penalty, which is -1 star. I removed the bounce back moniker off of Le'Veon Bell because you can't trust it. You can't trust what he's going to do. And I just don't want any part of that. You don't want any part of that. Stay away from this entire team this fantasy season. Don't even bother. They're not worth it. So anyway, I feel a little bit better after getting that off my chest. So let me get this set up, and we're going to use my app. And again, it's a simulator, so not against live people, but we're going to see what kind of team we can get, and we'll see what Fantasy Pros thinks of it as well. They're usually pretty critical of my choices of players, but I think they will like this more, especially with that strategy where I'm going to get myself 6 top 50 players, and I'll show you how I do it. So anyway, let me just pause. I'll get the setup, and we'll come back and all right, so we're back. So the other thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to utilize the predictive capability of my app, and we're going to pre-select our choices before the draft even starts, and we're going to go through, and I'm just going to show you like how this works and why this works so well in a live draft situation. Obviously the fact that it's a simulator, it just zooms through the choices that are not mine, but in a live draft, you've got time. You've got time between your picks to figure out what we're going to do here, like this part we're going to do here. So first of all, we got to set up the app. So my app does have this PPR with TE 1.5 PPR list already set up. So I did this because I'm in the FFPC. So this is my optimized list for what's happening here. All right. So again, this is one of the lists you can access when you when you are in my app and when you have a subscription to my app. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to select it. Then it's going to say, do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? I am not going to engage it. I want to see all the players on the list. And then do you want to enter draft mode? So you break down the list based on the size of your league and your draft position. So it is a 12-team league, and we are picking 10th. Let's go ahead and enter draft mode. And of course, we're going to have to do the first pick when we enter the draft simulator. But what you do is these are the position filters. This is each round of your draft. Here's my recommendations, and then down below is the list of all the players. And what you see here are all the players between our first pick and our second pick, with a little bit of overlap on each side for long shots and reaches. And down below, you have the removed players, which are players that should not be available to us when it gets to our pick. You know, the chances of one of these guys making to us at pick number 10, you know, Christian McCaffrey, Zeke Elliott, Alvin Kamara, virtually nothing. So you can't count on that. So they're already removed from the list. But if I want, I can restore any player from the removed players list onto the active player list, and it will give you an updated VORC score for that player. So it's great for those players that are available much later than you would expect, and you can test them out. You can restore them to the list and see how they rank against the other players that are already active. And one thing that I like to say is the way I rank my players on the VORC score for a player will increase the longer the player is available on the board, because of the value component is always measured against the current draft pick. So if we look here like at George Kittle, who is a reach for the first round, that just means he's going to be a long shot in the next round, but you can see that he gets 47 VORC points at round 1, pick number 10, but at round 2, he is, where are you? There's Kittle right there. Kittle gets 52 VORC points as a round 2 pick because the value component is being rated against pick number 15 as opposed to pick number 10. So that's really good to know, and that will help us in finding the best players. So when we look at the first round, you can see that here's who it's recommending. Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. That's who it likes the most at this point in the draft. You can also make a case for going for Travis Kelce here because of the 1.5 points per reception for tight ends. Huge bonus to his value. You can see his value rank is 6th overall as opposed to Henry, who is 13th, and Jacobs, who is 24th. So Jacobs isn't a great choice. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take Travis Kelce with my first overall pick. It's a great place to get him. I should be able to get him there. And then for the next 3 rounds, I'm going to get running backs. All right, so that's what I'm going to work on here. And Nick Chubb's going to be my top choice for the second round for running backs. So anyway, let's go ahead and let's get the draft started. So you can see here I got it set up for the FFPC. It's a 20-round draft. We're just going to do 10 rounds here, but 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, defense, kicker, 10 bench slots. That's how it is. So let's go ahead and we're going to start the draft. And like I said, it's about a 50-50 shot that Derrick Henry will even make it to us on this draft. Now, if he does make it to us, I might, you know what? I'll probably take him, and then we'll take Kittle in the second round because of his value there. So let's see what happens. Okay, so Henry did make it to us. So I'll tell you what, that's what I think I want to do. So let's go to the cheat sheet. I just got to hide the tiers. I'm going to hide the drafted players. But you can see the first part of the draft, very typical for what you would see in any normal draft. I do like going with Derrick Henry. So let's go ahead and take him first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Kittle with my second pick. So if we go to the second round, you can see here that Kittle, he ranks very well, 9th overall for his value. So we're going to have 2 players with top 10 value on our team by doing this. So you can see it's just a short turnaround. And there are some good choices here. You know, there's Drake. There's actually good choices on this list. There's choices above Kittle on VORC score. Nick Chubb, Chris Godwin, Kenny Golladay, Zach Ertz actually ranks higher than Kittle that is kind of surprising. I think it's just because of their reliability rankings. But Kittle's upside is so massive. And also the issues they're having with other receivers on that team. He is going to be the primary receiver on this team. So let's go ahead. Again, Kelsey gives us 2 top 10 players because Henry was 6th overall for value. Kelsey is 9th overall for value, so we'll take that. And then what we're going to do is on the next 2 rounds, we are going to go ahead and we're going to take running backs. So in the 3rd round, the running backs, well, who is it recommending? Robert Woods, Calvin Ridley, Leonard Fournette is who it recommends in the top 3 picks. But if we go to the running backs, you can see here, Leonard Fournette ranks very well. Jonathan Taylor does not rank top 50 for value. So that makes me want to stay away from him. I'm more inclined to grab one of the rookies in the 5th or 6th round. Fournette is a good choice, but let's see who else is available because we can restore players to the list and see who is still on the draft board. So it's going through. So you can see Leonard Fournette is still on the board. David Johnson, there's Jonathan Taylor, Kareem Hunt, David Montgomery. There's not a lot of great choices left for top 50 value running backs, but Fournette is still there. He does get us top 50 value. So let's go ahead and take him as our 3rd round pick, which is a rock solid choice. 300 touches and targets this year guaranteed. And he's not being screwed over by his coach like Le'Veon Bell is. And it doesn't matter anyway because Bell is gone. But let's go to the 3rd round. And actually the one running back that I wanted to make it to this round is still available. And that is David Johnson. And David Johnson right now, value rank of 46. He is the last running back, I think. Yeah, because Carson's gone. David Johnson is the last running back offering top 50 value on the draft board. This is why I always go so heavy on running backs early because it thins out so quickly. And the reason David Johnson is available is because I have an early 4th round pick. That's why he made it to me. If I was like picking 7th or 6th, he'd never make it to me. He'd totally be gone by that point. But let's go ahead. We'll take David Johnson as our 3rd. And then we still have not taken a wide receiver, but there's going to be some good wide receivers on the next pick. So if we look at the 5th round, let's switch to wide receivers. And you can see here that it is recommending, well, it doesn't recommend any receivers here. We got Diggs, Parker, and T.Y. Hilton. Those guys are not great choices. They do not rate well in my app. But, oh, I'm sorry, we're going to round 5. Yes, round 5, that's where I'm at. Okay, so let's see who is still available. And I see some good choices on the board. Cortland Sutton, DK Metcalf, T.Y. Hilton. These are guys that score very well and offer really good value. So we can restore them because they should have already been gone by now. But because everyone's going so heavy on running back, it's easy to get these guys. So let's restore Sutton. Sutton scores 80 VORC points. Excellent. 34 ranked value. Metcalf, where is Metcalf? Right here. Metcalf also 79 VORC points. His value is not as good, though, 45th, about a round later. I mean, still great value for where we would take him here, but Sutton clearly has an advantage. And then T.Y. Hilton, Hilton is not on this list. He might be available on the next round. But I love the idea of going with Sutton. We'll go with Sutton as our 1. I have him ranked as a high-end 2, and he certainly offers the upside. That offense is going to be very productive this year. He's going to be the primary receiver. It's not going to be Jerry Jeudy. He will be the primary receiver, and his job got easier because there's more pass catchers that are better and it will force defenses to cover other players and not just double-team Sutton. So I think his efficiency is going to go up substantially. So unfortunately, DK Metcalf came off. T.Y. Hilton did come off as well. But there is still one guy left who offers top 50 value in the 6th round. I've been talking about this. I just did a strategy thing about this. Jarvis Landry. He offers value rank of 39 in the 6th round. You cannot pass that up. I will take him in every single draft that I get. So let's go ahead and we'll take Jarvis Landry. And that is our 6 top 50 value players, including an elite tight end that we have on our team right now. So that makes me feel really, really good about where we're going this year. Now, in the 7th round, We can go a number of different directions, but the first thing I want to do is check the quarterbacks, because right now it's saying Carson Wentz, but I know that not a lot of quarterbacks have come off the board yet. You can see Matt Ryan's also on the board here as a long shot. He is also an excellent choice, but let's see if there's even any better choices. And I'm telling you, there is going to be better choices, even though some quarterbacks I see coming off here. So look, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen, Matt Ryan, all still on the board. We can restore Watson and Allen onto the list and see how they rank. Let's see here. Watson right there. And Allen, who is a regression risk candidate. You can see Allen scores very well here. Deshaun Watson scores highest overall. And I know a lot of people are out on Deshaun Watson, but listen to me here. It is a contract year for Deshaun Watson. He's playing for a big payday. He still has quality receivers, even though he doesn't have Hopkins there. He is going to be very productive, and especially for fantasy. The rush yards are there, and he is a great choice for us to take in the 7th round of this draft. And so I'm going to go with that. He also offers the most value. Matt Ryan, I do also like very much. I think Brian is the safer choice, but I'm going for it here. I'm going for the win on this draft. I'm taking what it'll give me. Let's take Deshaun Watson in the 7th round. And in the 8th round, what I want to look for is Will Fuller. Now, Will Fuller is probably going to go here in the 7th round. You can see here, he's recommended here. But if he's available in the 8th round pick, we could stack Fuller with Watson on a year when Fuller's going to be the number 1 receiver on that team. He's the one with the most history with Deshaun Watson, and it's a contract year for him as well. He's another guy that I really, really like on the long shots. So let's see if he makes it back to us. Fuller did not make it back to us. Okay, so that's a moot point. So let's go and look at what else is available for this round. So you can see, got a couple of really good wide receiver options. We got Sterling Shepard, Christian Kirk. Also, Phillip Lindsay, I think, is a great choice at running back. I really like him this year. Who else scores over 40 VORC points? And that's kind of like my threshold. Carson Wentz, the quarterback, scores over 40. We don't need a quarterback because we've already got ours. We'll get one late, of course. But let's see here. So John Brown does not score 40 points, but is right there. So I think he's worth it. But really, my favorite, Sterling Shepard. His consistency rating is great. Upside with Daniel Jones, outstanding. I really, really like him. Crowder is a guy I just mentioned. I am not going to be taking him in any drafts. I am staying clear of the Jets, that mess, that horrible, horrible mess. There's Lindsay right there. There's Shepard right there. So, if we... And we only have 2 wide receivers, I do believe, right? We're only sitting with 2. So we definitely need another wide receiver. Now, if we wait till the 9th round to take a receiver, who could we get? John Brown's a long shot. Not a lot of great options there. But let's go ahead and take Sterling Shepard. Like I said, Sterling Shepard, I really, really like his upside this year. I think he's finally going to deliver on his potential, and that I think the Giants offense is going to be really, really good. So we can see, and there's Lindsay came off. I figured, and Zach Moss came off. Too bad. I was hoping we might be able to get him on this round. But let's go ahead and look at the 9th round. We definitely need to take another running back at this point. So you can see here who's it recommending for running backs. I mean, Lindsay was the long shot to make it to us. Moss did not make it to us. We got Kerryon Johnson and Marlon Mack. Those let's look at Kerryon Johnson. He's not here yet. Let's look at the 10th round. He's probably on the 10th round. Kerryon Johnson, Marlon Mack are both together. Marlon Mack does not offer great value, but Kerryon Johnson does. And I know he's a low reliability player, but he might be worth it. You also got option to take Alexander Madison here. Antonio Gibson. There are some options. Let's see here. So we've got those. There's Madison. For wide receivers, which we really don't need right now. Let's see here. We definitely need to take some running backs. So I'll tell you what. I think what I'm going to do is I want to take Kerryon Johnson, then we'll do the quick turnaround, grab Alexander Madison for the upside there. And yes, he does make it back to us. Bunch of wide receivers were taken. Madison is our 10th round pick. So that's going to wrap up the top 10. So that's a pretty good start. And you can see we've got ourselves 5 running backs. We've got 3 wide receivers. We got our quarterback. We got our tight end. Really, the only other starters we need are the defense and the kicker, which are not till the end of the draft. And then we got to fill out these draft slots. I'll take one more tight end. I'll take one more quarterback. The rest I'm going to try to get. I'll probably take 2 more wide receivers here. The rest will be running backs. And that's how I'm going to fill out my bench. And I'm just going to start grabbing high upside players, rookies, like A.J. Dillon. I'll probably grab him. Carlos Hyde's a great choice. There's some good options here. And then as far as the wide receivers, oh, look, here's a great wide receiver. Preston Williams, still available in the 11th round. Darius Slayton. Well, we already got Sterling Shepard. We don't need him. Golden Tate's another good one. If you happen to miss on Shepard and Slayton's not there, Tate's a good option. McCole Hardman, Alan Lazard, Curtis Samuel. There's still some great wide receivers here that I'm totally going to load up on. But as far as our team, what do we got? We got Deshaun Watson at quarterback, contract year player. Okay, I'll come back to that. So anyway, I'll come back with the analysis of who we got so far, and we'll see how Fantasy Pros rated this team, because I'm just going to run through the rest of the draft here. I'll be right back. All right, so I finished. There you go, man. A 91 out of 100 is the score they gave me. That's pretty rock solid. I got to say, this strategy of going for the 6 top 50 value players is extremely good. You need to follow it if you are picking late. And the later your pick, the better it's going to work. Just remember, grab Jarvis Landry in the 6th round. That's the last top 50 player available. So anyway, there you go. So that went extremely well. I very much like this team. You can see here my starters. I got Derrick Henry, Leonard Fournette as my running backs. Cortland Sutton and Jarvis Landry are my wide receivers. Deshaun Watson's my quarterback. Travis Kelce is my tight end. Oh, look at that. I messed up. I was supposed to take Kittle. Okay, that was my mistake. I thought I took Kittle. So that probably hurt my score a tiny bit, but I still probably would have gotten an A. David Johnson and Sterling Shepard are my flex. I got the Chargers in my defense, Harrison Butker as my kicker. And so there you go. So again, a very solid team. This strategy does work extremely well. So I like the idea of in the 2nd round, grab yourself either Kelce or Kittle or Mahomes, one of those 3, and that way you'll be able to field 6 top 50 players in your team. Now, those are the only 3. I guess, you can also have Lamar Jackson as one of those options, but I don't like Lamar Jackson this year. I think he's a regression candidate, so I would stay away. But, you substitute. You put in either that elite tight end or elite quarterback right there early in the second in your 2nd round pick. It'll really set you up well. If you want to go for depth, go for 4 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. It's up to you. Or 4 wide receivers and 2 running backs. The way I would do it though is try to get 3 running backs minimum out of those top 6, and you got to take them all by the 4th round at the very latest. Because again, David Johnson's the last running back with a top 50 value during that time. And oh, look at that. I got him stacked too. I got David Johnson stacked with Deshaun Watson. That's pretty good because David Johnson will catch a lot of passes. So that's actually that's a very nice stack. We didn't need to get Will Fuller. That's totally fine that we didn't get him actually, because we do have a pass catcher for our quarterback. So that's actually very positive. That's a good thing. So anyway, this is how it works, man. Go to work. Good luck if you're doing FFPC this year. Like I said, I very much enjoy the formatting of it, the way it works. It's you do an 11-game regular season against all the opponents in your division. Then you have a 2-week championship on weeks 12 and 13, and then weeks 14, 15, 16 for those players that qualify go for the big money on the high stakes leagues. So anyway, last year I had one team that won its league, and the other 2 ended up in 5th place. So they didn't make the playoffs, which was kind of a bummer, but one was so close. It was literally 2 fantasy points for the entire season that I was short of the guy that got 4th place. So that was kind of hard for me to take. We both had the same record. It's not going to happen this year, man, especially with this strategy. I love this strategy. It's going to work very well for you. So anyway, that's it for today. I'll be doing another mock draft tomorrow, and we will talk then. So have a good day, everybody.